experience to recognize some of those people throughout our organization doing different tasks to make our schools run every day. This year, we'd like to continue in that honor in recognizing some hidden heroes, but this year we're going to start with some people that really work inside the classroom and inside our school buildings, but do some exceptional things even outside of the classroom that many of us may not know and can come to appreciate the value that we have here in our staff in Edison. And this evening, our first recipient for our Hidden Hero Award in October is Ms. Lindsay James, and I'm going to ask her to please come up to the podium and join me for the presentation. As she's coming up, I'll briefly introduce her. She is in her 9th year of teaching, and she currently teaches first grade over at JMP, although your agenda says James Madison Intermediate. I told her she is not getting an award and being transferred, so she is not. Her family is here along with Mr. Seiler, who is our building principal, and she also is joined this evening by her co-teacher, Darlene Kagana, who has been with her probably the same amount of time, all 9 years, is that correct? 8 years, 8 years. And so what I'd like to do is ask Brandon to turn on the video so I think you get a chance to be introduced to her as well.
My name is Lindsay James, and I am a first grade special education teacher here at James Madison Primary. A typical day in my room is a lot of energy, a lot of fun. I want the kids to come in my room and feel like they're in Disney World.
Her ideas inspire me and inspire the things that we do. We're making memories for these kids that I don't think they'll ever forget.
There's students in my classroom who have autism. I know eventually my students are going to find out, they have autism, so I want their first exposure and their first experience learning about it to be a positive one. I had this book written tentatively, and then 2 years ago, my fiance actually passed away. And when he passed away, I woke up and I was like, anything that I ever wanted to accomplish, I had to accomplish now. So I wrote the book. I guess it was on the crossroads of my passion for teaching and my love for my fiance and his daughter, and everything kind of just merged into one. Autism is underrepresented in children's literature and in literature as it is. So I wanted to write a great story that any child could read that talks about acceptance. Every step of the way, I involve my students. The classroom in the story is actually my classroom. So when my students pick up the book, they say, oh wow, this is our classroom right here. If anyone were to take away something from my story, it would be that not only should we accept people with autism, but we need to be accepting of everybody, anybody who's different than you, and that their label shouldn't define them. I had a friend of a friend read this story to their son, who's about a preschool age, and told their son at the same time that they have autism. And at the end, he said the A in autism stands for awesome, so he really felt good about himself after he read the story. That's probably the best compliment that I could ever receive.
My name is Lindsay James, and I am the Edison Public Schools.
Part of this process is the recipient gets to see the video for the very first time, so you get their raw reaction as you see right now, which is pretty spectacular, and which is really how we would define Lindsay. She's pretty spectacular for her students, for her school, and as you can see, for the community as well. Just a couple other things that I just want to share with you is that her principal really described her as a real forward-thinking teacher. She's always giving them new ideas and trying to share and bring things to her classroom and to her school, always including her parents and making that home-school relationship a powerful one. Also outside of school, she attends many of the autism awareness events. She's also created the Stand Up to Bullying campaign that offers some of the JP students a chance to earn a scholarship. These are fund that supports students that have been bullied or stood up against bullying at JP Stevens School. So besides, again, being a spectacular teacher, besides being a great colleague and a great person, we're very proud to have her in our Edison Public Schools. And so this evening we want to present her with the I Am Edison Hidden Hero Award. It's in recognition of your outstanding efforts and dedication to the Edison Public Schools, in appreciation for your commitment and dedicated service to the student, staff, and the entire Edison Township community on this day, October 24, 2016. So I wanted to thank you for coming this evening and recognize you. Congratulations.
Wow. Brandon Uley, that was unbelievable. Thank you so much for telling my story. And I'm so honored to be here. Thank you so much for this award. It means so much that I grew up in Edison, and Edison has such a huge impact on my life. And the teachers in Edison are just so hardworking and so inspiring. So for me to be chosen for an award that has the word hero in it, it really means so much to me. And it's ironic because growing up, the heroes in my life were always my parents, and they're the ones that are sitting in the stands watching me right now. My dad was a special education supervisor, and it's so funny. So when my fiance passed away, he actually told him when you go to ask your hand in marriage, my dad actually said, I want you to encourage her to write a book. So my dad knew I was going to write a book long before I ever did. So thank you for the encouragement and for always instilling acceptance in me. And thank you, Darlene, for always being there for me. They say you never work a day in your life if you love what you do, and me and Darlene definitely don't consider our jobs work. We love what we do every single day. Growing up, also, every year, my teachers would ask me to write about my hero, or who I thought was my biggest hero. And every year from first grade probably until high school, I always wrote about Helen Keller. And Helen Keller was blind and deaf. And it's interesting because writing about Helen Keller, it wasn't that I thought she was so amazing because she was blind and deaf. I would always write about her because I thought that I learned so much from her because she was blind and deaf. And I always thought to myself, well, if she was able to accomplish so much, then I should be able to accomplish anything. And then ironically enough, I became a special education teacher, and when I decided to write this book, that was my exact message, that people shouldn't be defined by their labels, but instead we should accept them for who they are, despite, whoever it is and whatever they are, we should accept them for who they are. So I wanted to leave you with one last thing. I wrote this poem in high school, so I was the captain of my J.P. Stevens high school soccer team, and it's called Effort. It's really short, but I wanted to say it to you. So it goes like this. Effort. A wanting for success with no limitations. Its boundaries are endless, resulting with new expectations. It's electricity in your body that explodes through a sport. It's energy that builds up that you must exhort. No one can tell you that you can't succeed when great effort is all that your body can breathe. And I think that as teachers and as humans, we have to really think about what we want to put our best effort in, because whatever we put our best effort in today is what we're going to leave the world with tomorrow.